Over the weekend, I was asked why it is I reread books. My answer was something along the lines of, 'cause, which got me thinking, why do I reread books? I used to be firmly in the non-rereading camp. As a young reader, my mind was like a steel trap, and I could perfectly remember all the stories I had read. I couldn't imagine another reason to reread books. I think my tendency to reread probably started small, going back for choice passages that were particularly funny or sad. The strongest reason for me to delve back into a story I already know is the kind of catharsis of emotional release. I go back into stories in order to feel the same feelings I felt before. Feel the feelings felt. Interesting fact. You think that the emotions would be less intense on a reread, however, I find the opposite to be true. Because you know the full story, there's a whole added level of dramatic irony. As salt enhances the natural flavor of food, so too dramatic irony enhances the emotion of stories. Shakespeare knew this to be true, and he spoiled the ending of Romeo and Juliet in the opening monologue. This makes even the happy romantic scenes delightfully bittersweet. This brings me to the second reason I reread. Reasons I reread. I so often find something new about the story, picking up on more subtext and atmosphere on my second read-through. Or, equally delightful for me, I'm better able to appreciate the storytelling. Often it's on a second reading that I can appreciate the way an author introduces a character or gives a subtle clue or juggles 3 or 4 plot lines. On the reread, I can sort of see behind the author's curtain a little bit and admire both how and why they told the story the way they did. The final reason I reread books is that I myself change. The world around me changes, and so does the way that I observe it. Characters, settings, and plot lines strike me differently at different times of my life. And, weirdo that I am, I think it's really interesting to pay attention to that. I've just started rereading Harry Potter. I have not read a word of this series since I finished book 7 when it came out almost 9 years ago. Gosh, golly, I'm old. And I haven't watched a Harry Potter movie since the final film came out in 2011. So I've been cold turkey apart from this world that I love for 5 years. I'm 2 chapters in and I've already almost broke down in tears twice. Why? Because I'm feeling the same emotions I had felt when I first picked up this book 17 years ago. Because when I first read this book, I was 13 and now I'm 30. And because it's still so much fun to read. I'm going to end this video with a quote from the first chapter of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It made me tear up in the coffee shop where I was reading it. 30-year-old woman crying in public reading Harry Potter. Awesome. It's a quote that probably didn't mean a lot to me the first time I read the book, or maybe even the second or third time. But this time was different. Minerva McGonagall has just found out that Dumbledore wants to leave baby Harry at the Dursleys. She objects. These people will never understand him. He'll be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in the future. There will be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name. Thanks for watching.